Welcome back to Quarantine Baseball. Today it snowed 3 inches outside in Michigan, so we are here in our basement. This is my son Andrew. He's going to help us with the video. Today Lucy is recording, and so I want to thank the kids for helping out today. Because it's snow on the ground outside, we can't do any outdoor baseball, but we can do some things here in our basement. Our basement's not very big, but it gives us enough space to work on ground ball fundamentals and catching fundamentals.
And it's quite messy.
Thanks, Lucy. So, a few tools that we can use for working on ground balls. You have a new baseball, that's great. A tennis ball. I also like these little plastic wiffle golf balls, which are really great too. And I'm going to walk you guys through a part of what we do with Andrew's team, but also we've been doing it since he was 9 years old to work on developing good hand technique on ground balls. So, Andrew's going to be here next to me. He's a left-handed player, so everything's mirrored from what I do. But as a right-handed player, a lot of times little kids are taught to have their hand straight down and their other hand right on top of it to make an alligator mouth. And this is what I was taught when I was a kid too. The problem is with this approach is it restricts your elbows. You have to have your elbows in, and we need to have our elbows a little wider so that when we field the ball, we can have nice soft hands and bring it to our chest. And when we bring the ball to our chest, our elbows have to go wider. So the newer way to teach this is to say that instead of 12 and 6 on the clock, we're going to be more like 1 and 7 or 11 and 5. So Andrew, let's see you do that too. All right, so 1 and 7, 11 and 5. Andrew, again, is left-handed, I'm right-handed, so we can mirror whoever you want to mirror here. But the idea is we want to get our fingers in the dirt, have our hands out wide, and have our other hand here nearby to cover like this, not directly on top, okay? Because we want to be able to see the ball into our glove, all right? So I'm going to back up a little bit, and we're just going to roll some ground balls to Andrew. He's just going to work on fielding that ball and bringing it into his midline, because everything that we do with throwing the baseball starts from here. So every time you field a ground ball, you're going to need to throw it. Most of the time, you're going to need to throw it. So we want to work on, becomes our routine, is to bring it here. All right, so keep the camera on Andrew. I'm going to back up, and I'm just going to roll him some tennis balls. Push these out of the way. You getting the ball in the shot there, Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So a couple key things that Andrew's doing. He's leaning forward. So he's not straight up and down, right, with his body. He has his hands in front of his head.
And it's butt out.
And his butt out, and his back is flat. You see how my back is flat? Right? And his head's up, and he watches the ball down into his glove, okay? So you can see, when I go back to him doing this again, that his hands are definitely in front of his knees. In fact, they're in front of his head, too. His hands are out front. Out in front. And what that does is that allows us to see the ball as it comes in. And also, if you bobble it, there's more space for the ball to hit your body and stay in front of you. So if this ball bounces up and hits him in the chest, it stays in front of him and he can still field it. But if his hands are back between his legs and he bobbles it, then it gets through his legs and he can't do anything with it at that point. So he wants to keep it in front. So when you keep it in front, his hands are in front, he's leaning forward. He watched the ball in. His eyes are in front of his knees and his hands are in front of his eyes. And the last thing he needs to work on is bringing that ball to midline every time. Now, Andrew's left-handed, so he plays first base. He doesn't make a lot of throws when he fields the ball. But I still want him to be able to practice because he might have to field a ground ball and throw it home. Okay? So those are nice, smooth, easy rolls. We can make this a little bit more difficult by bouncing some. So I'm going to throw him a few bouncers here just to get a quick look at those. Oh, and you missed it. There you go. Good. Got to have soft hands and want to bring it to midline. So you want to make sure that you funnel that ball in soft. That's right. The ball, you should bring the ball towards your chest with soft hands. You don't want to have hard hands that push the ball away. Good. Good. All right. So the next thing we can work on is we can work on forehand and backhand. Okay. So again, I'm a right-handed player. He's a left-handed player. So on a forehand, we're going to go outside the knee here. We don't have to have our other hand as close because you're going to imagine if you're standing up and you're on a forehand, it's really hard to get your other hand all the way over there. So it's okay to field this one one-handed if it's outside your foot or outside your knee. And we still want to, though, is to pick it up with soft hands, pick it up and bring it to our chest. Same thing on the backhand. We're going to field on the backhand. We're going to make sure we flip our glove over or our hand over, and we're going to field it in front. got to make sure you have your fingers of your glove out in front. A lot of times kids want to field ground balls like this backhanded because it's hard to get your wrist out straight. This is good practice barehanded. Make sure we're in front and feel that ball in nice and soft. Nice and soft. Nice and soft. Okay? So let's go on the forehand first. So Andrew's forehand's on the other side because he's left-handed. Boom. He's going to be nice and soft and bring it into midline because he's going to make a throw home and get the guy out at home as a first baseman. Good. Oh, these are a little tough with the tennis balls because they bounce. Good. Good. And see how he's still leaning forward and he still has his eyes out front and he's fielding the ball in front of his eyes. All right, I think you should get your hand a little bit more out front even. There you go. Now it's a little bit more out front. You just moved it forward about 3 inches. Now those 3 inches make a difference to fielding the ball out front. Now we'll go back to the forehand again. Oh, I bounced it to him. So it's a little tougher when you start to take the bounce with the tennis ball because the tennis ball bounces so much. But you can still do it. And then we can go right down the middle. Now on that one, I want to remind you again, yep, hands out front. So the one before that, he fielded it between his legs. We don't want that. We want to field the ball out in front. Oh, got to go backhand. Let's go backhand. Good. Backhand. Good. Forehand. Good. And down the middle. Good. Got it. The next thing we can do in the basement or at home is bounce balls off the wall. Now you have to have permission from your parents to do this, but here in our house we have a hockey shooting pad that Andrew uses for hockey, and we can bounce tennis balls off of that with no problem. If you have an unfinished basement with a cinder block wall or a concrete wall, that works really well too. I'm just going to take this and we're just going to practice just bouncing the ball off the wall and field it. Boom, boom. And then if you want to bounce it to your backhand, you can do that too. See, I even missed it sometimes. There we go. Okay, so that's something you can do too, is go down in the basement, or you can go outside to your neighborhood school or to the side of your garage and just bounce yourself ground balls. Okay, nice and easy. The last thing we're going to practice in the basement is more ground balls, but now with our gloves on and on our feet. So we started out on our knees just to make it nice and simple. But of course, you can work on your feet too. Our basement carpet's not very nice, so it's no big deal if we bounce baseballs off of it. Also, we use brand new baseballs for this, so they're not dirty and not rubbing dirt all over your parents' house. But if you don't want to do that, just tennis balls work for this too. But ultimately, to give yourself the real game feel of having the ball in the glove, you want to try to use real baseballs if you can. So I'm going to do some of the same things with Andrew. I'm just going to roll him ground balls, we're going to bounce him ground balls, and also we're going to work on something called a short hop, where the ball bounces just before his glove. And that's one of the toughest plays in the infield, is when the ball bounces just before your glove, because a lot of times for young kids, they're scared of it, that it's going to jump up and get them. But really, that's an easy play because it always bounces straight into your glove if it bounces just in front of your glove. So we're going to work on all three of those things here real quick, just to have a chance to watch Andrew do some work. Middle. Bring it to midline. There we go. He's going to bring it to midline. Good. Good. Now we're going to go on the forehand side. Good. 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 Bend those knees. Yep, get down low. Bend those knees. Good. Backhand. Good. Bend those knees on the backhand. Good. Good. All right, now we're going to try a bouncer. Good. Over there. Good. Good. Now we're going to try the short hop, where the short hop again is going to bounce right in front of his glove. The short hop's a little bit different than when you regularly field the ball. Regularly when you have soft hands. Sometimes with the short hop, it's better to go out and get it because you want to make that hop as short as possible. So if this ball that's coming to you and it's bouncing and you can pick it right off the ground, that's better than having the ball bounce 2 or 3 feet, because if it bounces 2 or 3 feet, you don't know if it's going to bounce up or stay down. Whereas if you catch it right after it hits the ground, then you know it's always going to bounce straight into your glove. Even if it bounces up, it still goes into your glove. So we're going to work on a few short hops here, right down the middle, to the forehand and to the backhand. Oh, missed it just a little bit. That's okay. That's the way to practice. Oh, almost missed it again. Forehand. Oh, that one didn't even bounce. Tricked you. Okay, we'll go to the forehand. Good. And now we'll go to the backhand. And on the backhand, on the short hop backhand, remember, sometimes it's better just to push into these just a little bit than to receive it soft. It's a judgment call that you have to get from experience, but most of the time you're going to want to push into a short hop on the backhand. the Legos. Bend those knees. Good. Good. So I think at this point, Andrew would probably tell you that his legs are burning a little bit, maybe his back hurts a little bit, and that's okay. That's all part of conditioning. We want to have really good form, have our legs bent, butt out, hands out front, flat back, and that takes strength in your legs. So are your legs hurting a little bit?
Just a little.
Just a little. He's also a hockey player, so he has good leg strength from that, but for a lot of kids, this is hard. But it's also part of being stronger and being more conditioned to be a good baseball player. So these are things you can work on anytime at home, in your basement. Really basic skills that even big leaguers need to do to stay on top of their game. Thanks for watching.